You know, it's what's an amazing thing. Each fall, the gardener will trim off leaves, cut off the roses, and all you have left is a stalk. And for that beautiful rose to come from just the stalk means there's a lot of beauty inside, isn't there? And we're going to do the same thing as we become budding artists. What I want to show you is if we cut away fear and doubt from each of us, and then we can blossom as an artist. And this is what we need to do, and this is what we will do. Because I will show you, or as Bill Alexander says, I will show you how easy it is. Let me just give you an indication what we have in preparation for the canvas. Pure raw umber acrylic is thinned out over a white canvas. It is dry. And then I've placed just a couple little drawing circles to show where the flowers will go in my small vase. We have very limited colors that will be needed today, and we'll show you how simple it is to become a budding artist. Not a starving artist, but a budding artist. Let's go ahead with, this is blue, phthalo blue, and we're going to use, quantity-wise, let's try about twice as much black as that. Twice as much black as blue. Mix those together, and then we'll add just a little white on the side. This will give us a color that we can go ahead and outline the vase with. And oh, it's so exciting because the vase is so simple. You use a lot of the acrylic canvas as part of your color. So we'll take the badger brush and come up to the canvas, and we'll just outline it right along there. There, we come up there, we'll go over here a little bit. This might be covered, the top of this will be covered as we put the roses and leaves down on it, but we come over on the other side, and then once you have that on, all you're going to do is dust a little bit. You know, Mom says, get in there and dust. Dust the furniture, dust the bowls and the vases. Okay, so this is what I'm saying now as I come down. See how much of this will still stay there. I'll brush this in both to help a little bit with form, and also will soften the outside edge so it won't appear quite as hard. To further help that, we might even just touch that outside edge just a little bit. And in doing that, I'm probably extending it out slightly, less than hard, less than sharp. Brush down across there, and oh, that works well. I did go ahead and put some magic clear across the whole canvas, so it makes the paint flow very freely and nicely. And as in the other paintings that will be on this series, we'll show you what magic white does when it's used later in the steps. Okay, now we were going to go ahead and put some lights on that vase. And I'll choose yellow, ochre, and white. This is about 3 parts white. And let's see how much yellow ochre we use. My initial intention is use about 3 white and 1 yellow ochre. We'll see if that's going to work as a formula. And then, of course, we'll come back with a little extra highlight on top. That is 3 to 1, but it's a generous 3. So I'll put you back. You come back in the spring when we need some more blossoming. And I want you to feel that you can grow. I want to bring the potential out of you and grow into being the type of artist you want to be. If you see something that I'm doing and you think, well, I'd like to do it a little different way, you go ahead and do it. Right now, I'm going to put the highlight in here. We'll place it, and then we'll refine it. This one has a curve because the vase, the glass, is curved. That outside edge shows me the curve that's inside, too. And then the light that shines through there would be what you call the reflected light, would come down on this side. Not quite as light because you're looking through the glass. This is right on the glass. All right, what if we put just a little bit up there, reflected light? Glass has a lot of little gleams, so you might just kind of dust off a little bit here and there too. Okay, as far as refinement, we'll take and blend this around a little bit. Remember that I said we'll come back with a lighter light, our magic white. That'll give us a real strong gleam. I kind of like to wait till the end on the magic white, just because of the dessert effect that it has. You build up, you go through the whole meal, and then the dessert comes on the table. Okay, let's go ahead and blend this a little bit. I'm going to sweep across that with a bunny brush, dry and clean bunny brush. Nothing on it, and we'll just sweep across like that. And it further softens it. That's its purpose, to soften it. I'm painting glass, which is very definite on the edges, but yes, you want to be able to put your hand on it and go around it nice and smooth like. We'll go ahead with a background color which will work in two places. This will work on the tabletop, there's a leaf, on the tabletop and a little bit on the wall. Equal parts of burnt sienna, burnt umber, and white. That looks pretty equal, doesn't it? You know, it's like in the olden days. They say, okay, you cut up the candy bar, you cut it, I get first choice. I think my brother would choose that one. The white looked a little more generous, but I think we need to have that. And my brother needed it too. He needed to have that extra energy. Let's go ahead with this. Let's see, what brush will we use? I'm going to use the 1-inch brush because that'll go a little bit faster, and we'll use it dry. Dry for two reasons. One being it's nice to scrub it around, and second, it already has the magic clear up on the canvas. So it flows very nicely, and it softens. Look how you soften the edges just by thinning it out a little bit. This is going to be impact on the wall so that you feel like there's space back of the composition. This will hang out here, and it will give a chance for this rose to be featured just a little bit. I might come down slightly against the side of the vase and blend the two together. That gives you a little less contrast, and it works towards having a lost edge. That's what they refer as a lost edge. It's not as easy to pick up as the other ones. Boy, that was appropriately named, wasn't it? Lost edge? Can't find it. Same color, same brush. And here we're going to have the corner of the table coming right down there. It's just a little off the corner, a little above the corner. Come over here. We're going to have a rose down in front, as you've already seen the picture, the painting. Push this around here. You aren't letting a lot of the background show through here. We did up there, and you'll use a lot of the background as being the color of the painting. But certain places here, we put it on just a little more opaquely than others. You know what's so neat with flowers? They just have such a universal appeal, and people have long admired roses. And you know, to learn how to paint them, isn't that great? To represent beauty, and you're going to have that privilege too, aren't you? Let's go to our next color, and I think what I will do is, now that I know what I will do, I'm going to take the 1-inch brush, and I'll pick up some alizarin crimson. The alizarin crimson is going to push in, as we might say, just the base of the flower, so I get their position on the canvas. And they're less than round. You might see just a faint little circle that looks almost round. Well, that's showing position. I'm not tied to that because the petals can be just a little more free than they are if they were a solid circle. Even though I have a couple roses that are a little lighter color, at this point, I'm making them with the alizarin crimson. We have one down here, we have one there, and then we have one that's on the table. You do want to decide which way they're looking, you know, so you have some pointing out this way and some that way. How do you do that? We'll do that when we get to the flower. Right now, they're just in there as shapes, a variety of sizes. We have a strong one here, a large one here, a couple larger ones there, and the others are a little smaller. So you do have varieties that way. Okay, now we'll go down and we'll leave the flowers and we'll go to the foliage. We'll have 2 black, 2 phthalo blue, so those are equal. And then we're going to have half as much yellow, so it's 2 black, 2 blue, 1 yellow. And this, at this point, will be just straight, solid, dark. And I'm going to use a fan brush on this because I want to have just a little more loose edges, and that'll make it very nice. And I can use a little medium because the paint just a little stiff. It's perfect, but I want it to be a little softer at this time. Okay, we'll push this around in between the roses, and you might even be hitting them a little bit, and that's okay, because when we put the color on the roses, we'll push them out a little bit above the leaves, across the leaves. So we'll go ahead with these, and we'll be building character into the foliage before we go back to the flowers. So we try to do it kind of in a pattern where you do one thing at a time and see it develop. And of course, you can always relate everything to the whole. Once you finish, then you decide, do I need more of this or less, or so on. Does that make sense? Sometimes I feel like I'm talking in circles. Let's take off a little of the leaves, simplify it. The thing that I like about painting, it's really good for the self-esteem. You know, you feel so good about yourself, what you do. And, you know, I recommend get in some classes. That's a great way of doing it. If you get in a class, you meet new friends. And the other thing about painting, besides learning new techniques, building self-esteem, meeting new friends, you might even make a living at it. How about that? Wouldn't that please you? It pleases me, pleases my wife. No, she's not a painter. It pleases her if I make a living at that. Okay, a little bit here. We'll come around like this. I have a quote that I want to give you, and it goes right along with what we're talking about here. Let me read this to you. This is Charles Schulz. He said, "Happiness is liking what you do as well as doing what you like." Liking what you do and doing what you like. And that's really what happens a lot in art. Okay, we have put on just a general idea of where the darks will be. Now we'll go ahead and work those up a little bit, and I'll choose, this is a flat badger brush, and I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to lay it down and flatten it out like that. And as you lift, it's the front of the brush that makes that little peak. Flatten and lift. Okay, let's come up here and do some of this, and then we'll do some more with a lighter color. Flatten and lift. When you lift, the top edge now just makes that little teeny corner. That's the landing gear of the plane. Boom, boom. And you find if you practice this a little bit, it becomes very natural to do. You will have this work a lot better with the paint being very wet. I have just a little bit of medium in here, so it makes it easier to put these down and have it become the character of the edges. Okay, I'll put a few of these in sort of fast. You got the idea, so we'll make sure we just place them in where they need to go, where they need to grow. We have some more on this side. Let's come right down in here. You know what's so neat about flowers? Let me give you an example. When we were growing up, you go outside and you see the beautiful roses or other type flowers that Mom has planted. You pick those flowers, you go inside and give her a bouquet from her own garden. Was she happy? Absolutely. So there's really a symbol of beauty and appreciation and love when you do flowers. And if you paint something because you love to do it, it will show further in your finished painting. Okay, now we have put on some dark ones, but we want to put some light ones on. So to do that, let's take cad yellow and white. I have what we'll call 2 cad yellow and 1 white. That again is a perfect match, perfect blend. And then we'll go ahead and take a little bit of the dark color and put into there. As you do the dark color into there, it's more of an eyeballing effect. What will be good? Is that enough? You can kind of mix it just to make it a little lighter. Let's put some more medium in it. Come over like that. Okay, now we'll come up with this. And it just, your same type stroke, but now it'll show up slightly against the dark, which is already there. You just tap these around. It's always the lay it down, flatten, and lift, but you do it with a variety of directions. And we're featuring these roses. So right now, we have a few in there. Let's come down a little bit below here where we have the top of the vase. And as I suggested, that's happening where you no longer see the top of the vase, do you? I've grown accustomed to your vase, but now it's gone. Let's put some down on the edge of the table here. We'll make these just a little more definite down on the table edge because it becomes a pathway into the vase. I believe I kind of shortchanged you guys a little bit. I put the dark down there, but I hadn't yet put some character darks in for the leaves. So right in here, let's put a couple of those character ones on. Like that in here. And now let's go ahead with just a little bit more of the green. You know what's neat? When we grow as an artist, look at it this way. When we're growing as an artist, we're growing in God's garden. We become everything that we can be. And boy, it's so nice because we want to be able to make people feel good when they pick us and they'll say, oh, there's a beautiful one. And beautiful one doesn't necessarily mean in looks, inner beauty. What's the potential there? And it comes out. Oh, it's so neat. And in the hands of the right gardener, we can be a winner, can't we? Okay, let's go ahead with a bunny brush, and we'll just touch blend a little bit here. When I say touch blend, with the corner of the brush, and then we'll decide how much fuller force we want to put on it. And some of these out on the edge from the darker ones will just soften a little bit, kind of into indistinct ones, because at this moment they're all about the same value out there and they become a little sharp. See what happened there? Softer and sharp. Okay. And we'll do the same thing here. And you're going to find that once in a while, as you do this, you might just be blending the dark into the lights a little bit, and you might lose some of them. But that's very helpful to kind of have some less important. And then you decide where you want the focus. The focus, again, we're saying in here. So therefore, the outer ones are just a little softer. Keep more strength, contrast, detail in the center part. Okay, let's go ahead with some lights on the flowers. Now on the flowers, I've heard it said different ways. This is just pure red, permanent red. And I'm not wetting this at all. I've heard it said, okay, you put on a cup and a saucer. This is a saucer, and here's a little cup sitting on it. And that gives you a little indication on how to first have the rose develop. That's one way. I had another person who said, and this was secondhand because I wasn't there, but I loved to have been there, said, okay, there's your bonfire. Here are the wagons around the bonfire. Isn't that a nice thought too? So all the things that help you on how to paint the character of the rose are very helpful. And I find even here, you say, well, let's go back to school. We'll put this on, and let's put on a number 7 over there, and how about a 3 here? So many different ways. Feel free to do it your way. Which way do you like best? And if you're in a class, maybe the teacher has another way of doing it. Each of those ways, which bring you to finishing the rose, are right. Several roads to Rome, right? Okay, we put on the cup here on the saucer. We'll put just a little character like that. Variety of strokes. And these are to be blended a little bit too, but you can see how much of that alizarin still shows through. That's very much a part of it. You know, growing roses, and when I say that, I don't mean as a gardener, but watching roses grow, gosh, that's beautiful. But I'll tell you, it's just as important to watch people grow. Oh, that's beautiful. And I don't mean from a child up. That's beautiful too. But watching you grow as you try something new, there's so much potential in you. It's fun to watch you let it come out and blossom. Okay, here we go with these. And you notice right at the moment, I'm doing all the roses the same color. We have some light ones up here that will need to be just a little lighter, but we start out this way. I have one bud up there. That's good. Now we come down to the rose, the lower one here. So let's see. Where's our stagecoaches? Not stagecoaches, just regular wagons. There's a nice little number 7. We'll put another, just a swoop there, just a little smiley face, a little wink out there. See, all those little strokes just give such a looseness to this. Okay, a little bit in on this one. This one will be one of the other ones that will be much lighter. And then we'll come over on this side. Okay, before I go on and make them lighter, I'm going to take the bunny brush again, and we'll go ahead and blend the reds that I've just put on. Okay, good paper towel, odorless cleaner, thinner, and we're in business. Now as I do this, part of it will be just to soften, and then you might even touch a little bit. Pull in towards the middle of the flower so the sharpness is a little bit more on the outside of the flower. And here I might even decide to soften, and you don't even see any red on the outside edge, but you're just softening the alizarin crimson so it melts and goes back on the other side. So here we go, continuing with this. Okay, and over on this side, this will give us just a little character with the reds and the alizarin. Now we come with the lighter lights. And you can do two things on this. Let's, when we say two things, let's wait till we get the color. This will be for the light on the roses and even for the lighter roses. I have a couple white. Let's use permanent red and yellow ochre, and we'll use equal parts of that. And see what happens as we add it into the white. Okay, that looks just about right. When I do this, I believe that I'll first start with the light roses, and we'll have so we have a real strong light right there. That's against that rose, so it sort of establishes the center of interest. You have a center of interest. You have this big rose, and you come up to the highlight there, and then you come up to here. But this is a subsequent interest too, because you come right out there eventually. Okay, lighter. These will be with more quantity of the pink than the other ones because they're a lighter rose. Just a little bit like that. Soften slightly. We'll come back with that bunny brush in just a minute. I need to have a little petal down here. Okay, we'll come over to this side, and this one can have just a little extra like that. And now on the big roses, I've been using the brush, which I could continue, but let's just use a knife for a minute. Let's put just a little bit up there. Just see, much less paint than the light roses have, but isn't that pretty? Just like that. Just such a subtle, small amount. Just like that, like that. A little bit here, and then this one gets some, not much. And then the lowest one, we'll go ahead, let's take, still with a knife. If we miss a little bit, so what? Correct it. A little bit here. You have kind of a little detail right up there. They're a little closer together, and one there and one here. Okay, then you decide how much blending you want to do, or how much blending you want me to do. Okay, I'll clean the brush because I have a little bit of the dark on it, and we'll go ahead and see what the blending will do, and then we'll come with that magic white. I like this one. This one will soften just a little bit. That's better. Just hit in from the sides. Push there. Almost looked like a daisy, didn't it? I think I'll use a little knife work so it's not quite so much like a daisy. Oh, thank you, Rosie. It's fun to name your flowers. Oh, my goodness. I don't think I'll take time to do it today. There's too many here. Did you count how many I have? I think we have 8 plus a bud. This one, a little bit stronger too. I'll put just a little more pink on that. Yes, that's better. And a little bit stronger where? That's not bad. Just a little touch there. You can keep building. I like the idea of putting a little light on. If it's enough, stop. If it needs more, go ahead and do it. Okay, now two things. One will be just put a little dark under behind there. Let's take burn umber. This will give us a little shadow here from the vase onto the table. Just blend a little bit in there. It mixes in with the green. And then finally, we'll go ahead with that magic white that we spoke of. Oh, I love the magic white. Watch what it does as we put it on. First, the glass. Look at the difference of that. What a gleam. You'd be afraid of breaking that glass now, wouldn't you? Just a touch in here. And let's also come with just a little teeny touch there. Okay, now on the flowers, we'll come up with some, and right where the dark and light meet, we'll put just a touch of magic white right there. It's an impact. Do we want any up there? No, that's enough. This one, after we have it on the big vase, I'll just soften a little bit. Just flatten gently without really removing any. And then I can touch around. I'll use, what brush do I have? Mop brush. And we'll just touch this just gently like that. It's been so great teaching you, showing you how to do the roses. They're a great subject. What a joy it is to smell the fragrance of the roses. But I'll tell you something. It's even more pleasing to watch a person grow, to paint, to feel the enthusiasm, as somebody discovers what's inside them. And that's what's so great. Sometimes other people discover it in you, and sometimes you discover it in yourself. Either way, just so we find it. But just think now, if you do a painting of roses and then you give that to someone, how much they will appreciate it. Best of luck. Continue to grow.